I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others. You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Please tell me you'll stay or take me away.
So hey everybody, it's Mickey, and in today's video I have 3 crock-pot recipes that are going to change your life. Alright, so they're really not going to change your life, but they're going to make dinner time a whole lot easier. So if you are new here, I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe. I put out new videos every week about all things home. You always want a really good soup in your arsenal of recipes, and this broccoli cheddar soup could not be easier. You make it in the crock pot and it comes out perfect every time. So what you're going to need for this recipe is 2 really nice size heads of broccoli. You'll need 32 ounces of chicken stock, a little bit of cornstarch. You'll need some of your favorite seasonings. For me, I like Mrs. Dash, some garlic powder, salt and pepper. You'll need about 4 ounces of cream cheese, about 8 ounces of velveeta cheese. You're going to need 1 chopped onion, 2 grated carrots, and about a cup of whole milk. You can also use heavy cream. I'm just going to use my cheese grater to grate my carrots. You can also buy the pre-shredded carrots that they have packaged in the grocery store. I just like the size of the carrots when you grate it by hand. So I have my broccoli all washed up, and I'm just going to trim it up, cut it into some bite-sized pieces. Just going to take a little bit, whatever's left of the stem off, and then just cut them in 4s. And then we are just going to finely chop our onion. In your crock pot, you're going to put in all your veggies. You have your onions, your broccoli, and carrots. Then in a large bowl, you're going to combine your chicken stock, and 1/4 of a cup of your cornstarch. And with a whisk, you're going to combine it well. Then you're going to pour this mixture over your veggies. Add your seasonings. Stir it up really good to make sure everything is combined. Cover and cook on high for 4 hours. So it's been about 4 hours that our broccoli has been cooking here. We're going to give it a little mix. And then we're going to add our velveeta cheese with about 1/4 of the cream cheese. So you're just going to break it up into little pieces, add it to your crock pot, stir it all in, cover, and cook for another 30 minutes. So it's been about a half hour since we added our cheese and cream cheese to our soup, and oh my God, it looks so delicious. Everything is all melted together, and I cannot wait to serve this up. It really smells great, and it just looks like such a delicious, hearty soup that's even better than Panera's. This is the best recipe for broccoli cheese soup that I have ever tried. I think that it is the closest and even better than what you can find at Panera. And you cannot beat this along with, you know, like a little side sandwich or some delicious crusty bread. This is so perfect for, you know, a lazy cold winter afternoon or a busy night. This next recipe is for barbecue pork chops, and I like to use those really thick center cut pork chops. I think that they do so well in the crock pot. They get so perfectly tender. I like to serve this recipe with a side of mac and cheese and broccoli. It is one of our favorite Sunday meals. For this recipe, you're going to need about a cup of barbecue sauce. My favorite is a Sweet Baby Ray's. Honey and brown sugar, it's what I use for all of my barbecue. You'll also need about a cup of apricot preserves. You can also use peach if that's what you have around the house. You'll need your regular seasonings. For me, of course, it's going to be Mrs. Dash, some garlic powder, salt and pepper, and you'll need any type of pork chops that are your favorite. You can also use the bone-in pork chops if that's what you like, but like I said, my favorite are the thick center cut pork chops. I have my 6 pork chops in the crock pot, and I'm going to season them with the garlic powder, Mrs. Dash, and salt and pepper. And what I like to do whenever I put meat into the crock pot without browning it first, I like to add just a little bit of paprika to give it a little bit of color. And then to this recipe, I'm also going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes. Completely optional, but if you like just a little bit of spice in your recipes, you can give that a try. To this bowl, I'm going to add about a cup of the apricot preserves. I'm really not measuring this out. My pork chops are a little large, so if I make a little bit of extra sauce, all the better. And then I'm going to add about a cup of the barbecue sauce. And then with a whisk, I'm just going to combine the two until they're smooth. Then we're going to add our mixture on top of our pork chops and try to cover them as much as you can. Spread the sauce out on top of your meat. Then cover and cook on high for 5 hours or until your pork chops come up to temperature. While our pork chops are in the crock pot, I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus recipe. It's not a crock pot recipe, but it's a really good one. I may have shared this one before. This is for my baked macaroni and cheese. I know you can make it in the crock pot, but I really think baked macaroni is so much better. So I have about 4 tablespoons of butter melting here in my pan. I have some salted water coming up to a boil for my elbow macaroni, and I have about 4 cups of whole milk here. So the butter is starting to sizzle a little bit in my pan, and I'm going to take 1/4 of a cup of flour and sprinkle it in there and mixing it up with a little whisk to make a roux. I always think of my mom when I make macaroni and cheese because this is how she taught me, and she learned from her home economics class in high school, and she said that she got an A+ on her macaroni and cheese sauce. So we got it to that point where it's cooked pretty well through, and we're going to start to slowly add our milk. So just take your milk and add it a little by little. Mix it in really well to allow it time to thicken up a little bit. So while the milk is warming up and getting nice and thick, we're going to add a little bit of garlic powder in there. I like to add a little bit of crushed red pepper, a little bit of minced onion, and some black pepper. So our sauce is starting to thicken up a little bit. I always like to use a couple slices of Velveeta. I think it really does create a nice, smooth sauce. And then you can use whatever cheese you have left over in your refrigerator. I have some Colby Jack cheese here. And I'm also going to add a little bit of cheddar cheese. So keep stirring that around to allow it to melt. So I've cooked the elbow macaroni, I've rinsed it really well, and I put the majority of it here in my casserole dish. I left some still in the colander just so that I can kind of, add it if we need it. So I have my completed sauce over here, and then I have a sleeve of Ritz crackers that I like to crush up and put on top. So with the sauce, you're just going to add a little bit of it at a time, and you're going to let the macaroni take the time to soak up the sauce. I think that's the secret to a really good mac and cheese. Adding the sauce a little bit at a time and allowing the macaroni to sit a little bit until it absorbs what you put in, and then you add a little bit more and a little bit more until you get the consistency that you want. So this is the consistency that you're looking for. You can tell that the noodles have absorbed some of that cheese sauce. It looks lighter and fluffier, and I think it's ready to go. The last thing I do before I stick it in the oven is I crush up some Ritz crackers. You can also use corn flakes, you can use potato chips, but Ritz crackers are always my favorite. You can add butter to this if you want to. I never do. I don't really think that it needs it. I really like to have that little bit of a crunch on top. So we're just going to add a couple handfuls of the crushed crackers. And then I'm going to also top it with a little bit of parsley. Cover it with a little tin foil, and I'm going to put it in a 350-degree oven for like about 25, 30, 35 minutes. So this is our yummy barbecue pork chop, mac and cheese with mixed vegetables. This is such a delicious meal. We always like to add a little bit of the juices from the Crock-Pot to the mac and cheese. It just makes everything just taste so good. This is one of those recipes that is great for just a family night dinner, or if you have some friends over for a good winter meal. Please let me know down below if you guys try any of these recipes and let me know how your family likes them. So that's going to do it for me today. Be sure to check out the description box down below for recipe details. Join our communities over on Facebook and Instagram at My Bashful Life. And please don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you all back as part of our YouTube family. So until I see you in that next video, I hope that you love the life that you have, be kind to each other, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.
Set my world on fire. I don't know what I'd do without you. You make me smile. What is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon is the snow. Care about the others. You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna